Yeah. So Donna Bartlett, I can't say I know you extremely well, but you're a really interesting person, which is why I wanted to have you here. Your favorite color happens to align with mine too. She's all blued up. I tend to be all blued up.
Coldwell Banker blue.
That's not where I was going with that at all. I have no
This is
affiliation
MedStrong
with
blue.
Coldwell Banker.
MedStrong blue.
Okay.
So your business that I'm aware of is MedStrong, and that was the one that I know you're into a lot of different stuff. Let me see if I can get this right. All right, pharmacist by trade, professor of pharmacy, and then when you went down the entrepreneur rabbit hole, if I've got this correct, it's based around this concept of de-prescribing medicine, which I think is amazing because this is one of the reasons Marissa is back, by the way, my wife. Watch the last episode if you want to learn more about her. Marissa's a nurse, and it's funny, like, listening to you talk for years about, like, when Marissa also did home care type nursing, where she'd go to people's houses, visiting nursing, where she'd go to people's homes, and she'd describe, like, all these pill bottles just everywhere, like an entire side table next to somebody's recliner filled with like, then they're supposed to take this stuff every day. And she'd talk about the things that when you started talking, she was ringing in my head. And the interesting thing is you're in a position to actually do something about that. Not that you weren't or didn't, it's just like the level that you're approaching it at. Like you're like at a root cause fundamental level with it, where you're actually in the trenches with pharmacy and de-prescribing medicine. Am I getting any of this right? Because
You totally are. You totally are. So I love to think of de-prescribing as a treatment, because what do? We prescribe, and then we prescribe some more, and then we keep prescribing, instead of looking back and saying, wait, could this be a problem because of something else that someone is taking, right? And that's what I do. That's the sleuthing I love to do, and finding out what's really happening. So when people present with all of sorts of meds, which are probably more than they need, 9 times out of 10, it's more than they need, I say, let's not be fearful. I'm not going to say, you can't have treatment. That's not the pharmacy or pharmacist that I am. It's let's just get you on only what you need and take only what you need. And let's not be on 5 or 10 or 15 different things when you really only need a couple.
Take me down to the pharmacist level, though. You started your career as a pharmacist.
Yes.
Doing what?
Dispensing medicines and seeing the bags of meds just walking out the door for one person. And I would just be so shocked. Like, is this okay? I don't think this is necessarily okay. And I would question, and there were some people who, they would call the pharmacy, this like 30 years ago, right? They'd call the pharmacy and, fill everything that you can for me. They don't even know what they have. Just fill everything that you possibly can for me. And so you're sitting there and you're filling everything that you possibly can for them. That's what you did.
That's insane.
And
I mean, it sounds insane to me.
It is insane, and then you, of course, as a pharmacist, you're looking, saying, well, this is a duplicate. This got changed to this. Like, you're looking at that kind of stuff. But anything that's active, that is, something I'm taking, please fill it.
So I think about this. Remember, they still have the pill tray or the pill.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the worst thing that could ever been invented. 100% the worst thing. I go in people's house and they have that, and then they have all the bottles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But isn't there sometimes people are taking stuff that, say they got prescribed something new, that they never asked, do I continue to take these? They just keep taking them.
Correct.
And nobody on the other side of the medical field says, oh, are you still taking those 7, 12 things that I told you to take? No one's saying, oh, by the way, don't take those anymore. Who's looking at that?
So, and this is problematic for sure. If people are hospitalized, for example, they do get a list, start these, stop these, continue these kind of thing, or switch this to this. Now, there are some instructions out there. Are they clear? Does it make sense for people? Do they hit all of the meds? They only have the list as to what was told during that event. Maybe some digging as to some dispense reports that they can get, but they don't know what they necessarily got online. You don't know if you used those $4 generic prescriptions where you don't necessarily need to use your insurance for. All the supplements that people take, all the OTCs that people take. So it really adds up. And then the other thing that people don't necessarily think about is, oh, I'm just taking this supplement, or I'm taking this, herbal, or I was told I should take this product, right? This digestive product. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
And there's 5 or 7 different things in that one. Well, everything counts in that too. So not only are you taking 7 prescriptions maybe, but now you're taking a product with 7 other products in it. So now the number of meds that you're taking is 14, if you really think about it. So, and I've seen this before,
right?
Where I've seen people on a list of meds, and then they'll take a handful of supplements, but those supplements equal 20 to 30 different products when you start looking at what is actually in those products. So it's really, like I said, sleuthing, and a lot of, you don't want to take that.
Yep.
And then you can just see things unfold. The other thing that I think is really important, which is it sounds funny, but it's what I do, and it makes sense to me, and I love it, is when I'm seeing these lists and I can just see like, oh, this probably led to this, this led to this. So these prescribing cascades that occur. And I can kind of see it, just because I've been doing this for so long, and you just like,
you have all that side effects memorized and everything.
But some you just know, like you can just see it happening over and over again and again. There are other things that I always do my med reviews and I look up interactions. But anyways, you see these prescribing cascades in front of you, and then you actually talk to the patient because you're just looking at the list right now. You don't necessarily have the person in front of you. I always ask for med lists beforehand.
Okay.
And you can just kind of see it happening. And then I have my questions ready for the patient.
Right.
And then I try to figure out that timeline. When did you start this? And then, they might not know, but was this one before or after this one?
Right.
And then it starts unfolding like, okay, yeah, I see it. Yep, this really did happen. And you can actually see it all unfold.
So sometimes they're taking a medicine that might have been a reaction of something. So now they're taking another medicine and another medicine and another medicine because of all that. But if you got rid of all of that.
If you change the first one that was causing the issue to one that wasn't going to cause that issue. So you still have hypertension, let's say. Yeah. You still have high blood pressure. You take a medication, it causes edema or swelling in your ankle. So then they put you on the diuretic. And then that diuretic causes incontinence. And then they put you on something for incontinence. And then that causes constipation. So then you're on medications for constipation. See it all the time.
It's crazy.
Just switch the first drug.
Yep.
Just switch the first drug. So I've seen so many times where one drug leads to 5, and it happens over and over.
So this is not just like
again.
When we first, when both of you start talking about things like this, I automatically think about like older folks, but this is not just older folks we're talking about. Anybody's susceptible to this.
Fascinating. And I'm so glad you brought this up because people think this. I've taught with medical students too. And I remember hearing one med student say, oh, this doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to pediatrics anyways. And I was like, ooh. Red flag. I'm like, oh, no. This happens everywhere. There are actually pharmacists who specialize in pediatrics and over-medication of pediatrics, and they're de-prescribing specialists in the pediatric world. Think a little bit further on, and I love the more and more I'm learning, and I've always tried to help people with women's health, women with women's health, and I see, young women starting on oral contraceptives, and it's just not working well for them. They get they're super moody or there's acne or whatever is going on. No one's necessarily looking at what that oral contraceptive is made of.
Right.
And so now somebody's like kind of depressed and they're depressed in high school. So therefore there's something else going on. And then they start on antidepressants and it snowballs, or like it can be any one of these things, but no one's gone back. So years later, they are still on some type of hormone therapy, still depressed, but no one's ever gone back to that first pill that they took.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So what's really important is that this polypharmacy that ensues for so many, and it starts with the first chronic med you take. It starts with the first chronic med you take, because if it's not being reviewed, if it's not being thoughtful and what's next or what's going on next for this patient, if it really isn't a new problem, but it's a side effect, then guess what? You started that road.
Who's at fault? Where does it
Love
start?
that question.
Well, let me tell you.
Let's blame.
No. So I actually do a slide on this when I speak, because it's so important. It's a culture. We're in a culture. We're a culture of prescribing. We're a culture of, I don't feel well. I want something. This is the patient.
Yep,
they go see the prescriber, and I want you to feel better.
I have a quote.
So they prescribe. And then from that, there's sometimes insurances, right, that get involved. Can't start that. You got to try this one first and fail on that before you can get the one that is really going to work for you. So there's just like this conglomeration of barriers and culture and what's going on. So if you talk to people about, hey, I don't think you need this med anymore. Oh, not that one. Or, you can't take that one. Or no, I've been taking that for years. It can't be that med. And I go, oh no, you have been taking it for years and it is that med.
And that's wow.
So, but so that's why I try to approach of, de-prescribing is a treatment. It's no different than here. Take this medicine.
Yeah.
You could have a side effect to let's reduce this and see how you feel. There is no difference in those actions.
I agree with you.
Prescribing and de-prescribing are exactly the same process.
Are you also considering things like supplement and like homeopathic treatment?
Everything counts. Everything counts.
So
100%.
If I was a patient, if I was a client of yours and I come to you, I don't even know where I come to you. Are you in an office? Are you online? What are you?
I'm everywhere.
Okay. So
you didn't see her helicopter parked out there?
No,
So say I come. Okay, so say I come to you.
One-to-one.
Right. So say I come to you and say, okay, I'm taking this supplement. I have no medication, but I'm taking these supplements and homeopathic treatment. You could still look at that. Now, okay. I trust particular doctors I have. Maybe so because they're not prescribing me pharmaceutical treatment. Probably why. So you're telling me that I'm going to these holistic, homeopathic doctors, and I could be in the same boat.
110%.
Okay, how do we get a hold of you? Because let me tell you something. This is amazing. It is amazing because I had one doctor that finally did blood work on me at 58 years old, decided to do this blood work. And I went to the lab to get it tested and they're like, wait a minute, why do you need 9 vials? Oh, you have a holistic doctor. Okay, you're going to get this all broken down. They found out I had a dairy allergy. Dairy allergy, I immediately get off dairy and I am literally a whole new person.
Yes.
No kidding.
Literally, can't even tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have still some effects of some things and I'm not sure what it results to. But now I'm like, well, they already took all my blood, like, all the testing. So now what's next? So now we have these little things that come, right? We want you to take this, this, and this. I've been on this supplement for years, this supplement, this homeopathic remedy.
Yeah.
Well, what are those not working that has not fixed? And not that I have anything crucial, but it's aggravating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's important. Like, I'm not going to, I'm not going to say, You don't need all of those supplements, but do you need all of them? Are they appropriate for you? And the one thing that I think another cultural thing, is we start and we never stop.
That's true.
And if you think about, everyone talks about Eastern medicine, et cetera. They have multiple things in their products too. Everything counts, but they don't keep you on the same thing forever and a day. They move with you. What is changing, what has worked, what hasn't worked.
What's Eastern medicine?
So it's like the Chinese herbals and things such as that.
Okay.
Maybe teas or whatever. But, I was just talking to somebody recently. They were on this tea that was, given to them by this group. And it turns out it was probably causing a lot of the problems that she thought it was fixing. And I'm like, you might want to double check. She then talked to some other people, and sure enough, they said, no, you should not be using that tea.
Interesting.
So it doesn't matter. Like I'm not kidding you, everything counts. And a great example that I love to share with people, and I know you had a quote too. Are we way by that?
It was just that she, in the last podcast she did with us, she said a pill for every ill. And I wrote it down because I figured it was spot on with what you were saying.
100%.
It was just kind of one of those cool ways of saying it.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So, I love this example because people don't understand like what they do. And I always like people to think about, okay, you've put a lot of value into finding a certain supplement or whatever it is that you're taking, buying it, whether you have to go somewhere or go online or whatever. So you've taken time, you've spent money, you've gotten that at your home. You're now opening that up and you're taking it. Like, you really value this supplement. This is really, really important to you. But why? What's the value of it for you? What are you hoping that this is going to do for you? So one example that I love to share is fish oil. It's just a very popular product that people take, and it can be fun, right? So it's fish oil, right? So fish oil, for some people, fish oil can increase the risk of bleeding. If you're on anticoagulants or if you're on other medications that could increase your risk of bleeding, and then now you're going for some, procedure, or maybe you're starting to get bloody noses, or maybe you're flossing and your gums are really bleeding a lot. There could be issues with increased risk of bleed. You fall, an older person, and now they have this internal bleeding because they're on all of these meds that have increased their risk of bleeding. Maybe there's a GI bleed. All of a sudden that happens, and now they're in the hospital because of that. So, but people think like, oh, it's fish oil, it's going to be really good for me. The very simple thing about fish oil too is, what people don't realize is, oh, I'm taking a statin to take care of my cholesterol, right? And, we all know the LDL, the bad cholesterol, we want to keep that low. Guess what fish oil does? It can increase LDL. So people are taking statins and they're taking their fish oil, and that LDL just is not going down. It's got to be the statin. I need more statin. I need a different statin. I need, different treatment.
Wild stuff.
And no one's asking, how much fish oil are you taking? And that is a problem. So everything counts.
It seems like what you're doing is contrary.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
How much flack do you get?
I was just going to ask that. Like, what medical department comes after you and says,
yeah, the conspiracy theorist in me is just waiting for you to get knocked off.
Come on, who's
how are you getting away with this, Donna?
Well, it's funny because I wrote the book MedStrong, and so many people are like, oh, I don't think Big Pharma's going to like that. And I'm like, I don't care. And it doesn't matter. Like, they're, for whatever reason, people do care that you're taking only what you need. But so who comes after me? No one comes after me. Who doesn't agree? Some prescribers, many prescribers, I say it all the time, it's 50-50. I have my recommendations. They are very sound. I back them up with labs, not like if I'm at the hospital doing my site work at the hospital teaching students, we are sharing, this is what's going on with the patient. These are things that they're taking. This can affect these labs. This is why the patient came in. They probably don't need this, or we should reduce this, or something or other. So I can follow that pathway. And if it's, very apparent, then they will probably take that medication off or change it or reduce it. I'll actions of de-prescribing. So, but does everybody do that? Does every prescriber or every hospitalist take what I have to say? No, they don't. They absolutely don't. But once you start working with some, like I've worked with some wonderful people who they really want to support the patient. And, I might not have prescribed it, but I'm going to listen to you and we're going to work together and we're going to figure this out. And I'm going to keep following up with this patient and we're going to get this patient down on meds. So I've had a patient on multiple meds, all maxed doses, and can't sleep at all, total insomniac. And it's the meds that are like so highly dosed, even though he's taking them earlier in the day, no one would sleep. You would never get sleep with some of these doses of products that can cause insomnia. And so whittling those down to the point where he's off of some of these meds. And guess what? He's starting to sleep.
You should have just given him Ambien.
Yeah,
what
right.
Are you doing?
One more.
There you go. There's that prescribing cascade.
Do you actually believe, and obviously you just said that you've connected with some people, wonderful people. Do you actually believe there could be a shift of the medical industry that they really care about one-on-one clients? Do you think that can happen?
100%. I do it now.
No, but beyond the few that you know.
Yeah.
Do you see a trend?
There has to be a shift. There has to be a shift. And so what I think is going to happen, and I know a lot of people are scared of AI and what it can do, and is it going to take my job? But I honestly believe that if it can help with better conversations, so people are better prepared, more open to the idea that, oh, maybe I should ask my doctor about this. Maybe I should ask my prescriber about this. I think, and then there's this AI information that is putting it all together for you. Like, wow, you really haven't been going places. Wow, your steps are really down from what they used to be. I'm really depressed on this, like kind of thing. And you can kind of see that. And then you can see an improvement maybe after a while. I think those are really important. I think what else is important is being preventative. We are so preventative, like take this medication for your blood pressure, right? So that you don't have a heart attack, so that you don't have a stroke. Why are we continuing all sorts of medications? Because what happens later on is, oh, you fall because you're on too many meds. You become more frail because you're on too many meds, because you're lightheaded and dizzy when you get up, for example. Your appetite isn't the same. You just can't get motivated. These are all things that medications can do to people over time that you don't even realize it. And I always love to give the example of, personally, being pregnant and being so nauseous and, but I'm not as bad as this person. They were in the hospital because of, they were so dehydrated from being so sick during this pregnancy. Oh, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. So it was like, oh, I'm fine. And then that goes away, right? So like 4 or 5 months down the line, I wasn't nauseous anymore. And I was like, whoa, you forget how good you can feel. And I think that's what happens. People over time forget, like, wow, I've been really achy. Like that medication's been really making me achy. I'm not walking as much. I'm not doing as much. And then over time, and then they're sitting and they're not moving. That just becomes the norm, and they can't remember what it was like. They don't remember. And then you stop some meds. Well, your cholesterol is excellent. It's super low. I think it's almost too low now. So let's back off on this. And they're like, oh, they feel better. Or your blood pressure is being overtreated. Like you've changed. Your lifestyle has changed. You're not eating as much. You don't have as much weight on you. Your blood pressure is now lowered because of these things. Good, better, and different. Our bodies change. So I see where you're going with that. But if we're staying on the same meds, the same dosing, that gets crazy. I always like to make that parallel to that. You have a baby to a 20-year-old, they see a pediatrician, right? And so you would never give an infant the same dose as you would a 20-year-old. What are we doing? We're doing 60, 65-year-olds, you get your medication, and then 20 years later, they're on the same med, same dose, maybe even more over time.
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
It's a different body. 20 years makes a huge difference
But we feel it
in our bodies. Whether it's healthier or not. 20, not everyone has to be like old and fragile.
No.
You can be old and strong, and hopefully people are. But if you're not being proactive, you're not being proactive about your medicines. Do I still need this? Is it still necessary? What's going on? We can just snowball into.
I never heard about your career right now, your title.
So as a de-prescribing pharmacist?
I've never heard that.
It's kind of a unicorn.
And so is there a lot of you?
Or is there a lot of us?
Are you an organization? Are you?
So the American Society of Consultant Pharmacists is, it's really houses the people who specialize in geriatrics and consulting pharmacists. People who are in that organization often have their board certification in geriatrics. So I'm a board certified geriatric pharmacist. That's kind of the specialty I chose. But like I said before, there are pediatricians who, pediatric pharmacists who specialize in de-prescribing too. And I don't want to say other pharmacists don't care. It's just a specialty that we have. Like, am I like really good at oncology? No, I'd have to like sit down and really like look and research. And I could do it, but it's not going to be like this to me.
Right.
But over medication, polypharmacy, oh yeah. And you can have all sorts of meds in there, right? And I take the time to look it up. So they might be on some oncology meds and then, or have had previous cancer and now have resulted in a number of meds. Like, why are you still on these? So I really believe that medications need to have a good until point, good until they're reviewed. And I say to folks all the time, we love to blame things on age. We love to say, oh, I'm so weak, I must be getting old, or I'm achy, I must be getting old. When really, I'm like, it's more than likely your meds, because your meds can cause all these things.
I know. I have friends that are just slightly older than I am, and they take like a pill tray.
Yeah.
And they say, and you know who I would be talking about, they say they're like, oh, I'm having a rough morning. I got a lot of pain today. I got a lot of pain. I'm like, now I have injury, and some days I was sharing that some days it's like amazing how there's no pain and some days there are, right? I don't take anything for that. But when I listen to them, I'm like, are you sure that you should be taking all? Yeah, I get it. I have to take all this stuff, but doesn't know why.
Yeah.
Doesn't remember. Yeah. And I guarantee you, listening to you right now, if some of those were looked at and some of those are taken away. Now, granted, there is some, okay, now I can't think of the word, degenerative disease that's going on with him. So that could be something that is going to be a chronic pain. However, all the stuff that's taken, I can't imagine that is helping pain. Mm-hmm. If not, what if it's making it worse?
Yeah.
At some level.
So
and on top of that, take an Ambien at night to go to sleep.
Yeah. See, so that's gonna, so these are the things that snowball. And if you're taking Ambien in the morning, you're not really waking up in the morning. Sorry. And at night, you're not really waking up in the morning. Not well. Mm-hmm. You're not getting on with your day. You're lethargic. You're not moving as much. Pain meds, they cause you to be sleepy. Fatigued. You're not going to be getting out and walking the neighborhood.
Right.
Over time, and then you sit more. And if you sit more, guess what? It hurts
stiff.
More. It really hurts more.
Yeah, you can't get stronger by sitting more. That doesn't work.
What do you think about, and I have no idea about these letters, CBD, blah, 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 ABC, marijuana.
That's more my category.
That's her.
I mean, is that part too? Does people have to tell you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they should. You should report everything. If you really are interested in, changing your your medication profile, if you want to de-prescribe, I mean, everything counts, as Donna said. So yeah, cannabidiol is CBD, and it's very often known as it is psychoactive, but it's the non-impairing cannabinoid. So cannabis is marijuana, and there's over 400 active chemical compounds in the cannabis plant alone. So yeah, so you have an entire pharmacy right there in one thing. So yeah, when people are taking cannabidiol, which is CBD, they're thinking, oh, it's good for inflammation. But if it's like a full spectrum, then you've probably got a series of cannabinoids in there, and all of those make a difference. They can. A lot of people don't understand that it can change the way a medication metabolizes or goes through your body. It can change the rate at which it does so. It can speed it up, which means you might be at a subtherapeutic level for other medications, and it can slow it down, which means you're getting an overdose over a longer period of time. Either way, you're not in the range that you probably needed to be. And we see a lot of people, they sprinkle on cannabis and it's like, and then you've got a mess. You have a big mess to look at. I've seen so many people. I mean, I do study cannabis. I had a period of years where I was a cannabis nurse. I am an advocate for it. And that's one of the things that I try to help people understand is it's not benign. It's not consequence or risk-free. It has side effects and adverse reactions. So even people that are just using cannabis alone, it's like, okay, we were never meant to use it all day, every day. We're not meant to suck it in a vape pen all day, every day. You're not supposed to go to Target and get your dose there, and then go in the car and get your dose there, and then go home and get another dose there. We're not meant to have that level of anything in our systems at any given point.
What about, can we back off there for a second and talk about
caffeine?
coffee? Yeah. Get a little close to home here.
Side effects too.
Caffeine has side effects. Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't want to hear about that. Let's move on.
How about melon or water?
I was curious on the same topic. I mean, you talk about how many active compounds are in one plant, cannabis. How does food play into this when you're attempting to de-prescribe and someone has a total crap diet? Does that play in to your opinion?
Yeah, 100%. And so just talking, not even if it's a bad diet, what are they taking and when are they having it, and when are they taking their meds? That can matter too. So like you're saying, things can reduce absorption or change metabolism as well. So there are medications and, some diet restrictions or timing, if you will, with some products. But if someone has a horrible diet, then they're probably going to end up on more meds because they're not getting in the full nutrients. So, and one thing that I'm thinking about for certain is type 2 diabetes. Like if you aren't having a well-balanced diet, if you aren't balancing your carbs and your good fats and your proteins, then you aren't helping your body to do that. People who do have type 2 diabetes, it's really important that they think about those three elements when they're eating, snacking, whatever, that they're rounding out the carbs, good carbs, so whole wheat kind of carbs or whole grains, and then healthy fats, so like olive oil and avocados and things like that, and then the for the proteins, you want to make certain that you're looking at maybe cheese or yogurt or something of that sort, nuts. Those are the good healthy proteins. So
no meat.
No, you can do meat too. Like you, but you want
are you
to.
a vegetarian?
I am not. I love my meat and my fish and my anything protein. But again, I think we share the same thing. The same thought is, everything in moderation. Do I love the Atkins diet, which is, you eliminate your carbs and it's so high on proteins, that's really concerning for someone's kidneys.
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
can really be problematic. So, just being thoughtful, just moderation is a great thing to live by.
100%.
I mean, when you have type 2 diabetes, and a lot of people these are the things that on my end of the spectrum, I'm teaching all the time. It's when you have insulin resistance, which is what people with type 2 diabetes have, is their hunger signals and their feelings of feeling satiated, or they're all kind of messed up. So portion control becomes really important, and really learning like what is it. It's a little 6-inch piece of meat, whether it's salmon or chicken or beef, versus, one that covers an entire plate, and you've got like your mashed potatoes and your corn on the side. That's
my kind of meal.
Yeah, y'all making me hungry here.
But that's a big difference.
One thing I have is an appetite.
Right. Yeah. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. It's okay to indulge. But it's really important to make sure that, again, like when we talk about balance, I don't think we talk enough about what that well-balanced diet looks like. And it's like, go out once a week and have your smorgasbord. But, the rest of the week, take care of your body.
Right.
Your food is fuel.
Yes.
It should be intentional. You should enjoy it, but it should be providing a nutrient that is helping your body respond and have energy. You're literally an energy machine. Yeah.
The one thing I do want to add on, just because you said balance, and I think that this is super important, is that people think that they lose their balance over years, and you can relearn balance. You can strengthen your muscles, and you can do balance exercises. So people who, and I hear this so often when I'm doing medication reviews for older adults, and like, I just don't feel as steady. So therefore, again, I'm not going out as much. I'm not walking the neighborhood kind of thing. I'm too nervous. I think I'm going to fall outside. I'm like, you can regain strength. It is, you can actually do that. And I don't think people realize that you can strengthen your muscles, and you can, I'm going to say, strengthen your balance too. You can relearn balance so that you are strong. And when people are like, oh, I feel like I just can't even, stand on one foot without wobbling. Well, even if you land and you catch yourself without falling over, you're still balancing.
Yes.
So don't, beat yourself up if you can't stand on one foot for 10 minutes. That's okay. But as long as you're not falling when you're on one foot, then that's a big deal.
You wrote a book or books. Can you tell us what those books are about?
Yeah. So the book itself is MedStrong, Shed Your Meds for a Better, Healthier You. And it's all about aging well with de-prescribing. So
is it too clinical?
No,
it's easy for us to be dumbed down?
I wrote it for the healthcare consumer, but I also find that people who are in healthcare also like it, because it's a great way to bridge conversation, because in there I have a lot of, how these conversations might go, what are some of these barriers, but also how did we get here? How do we get to this over-medicated world? How and what is the action we can take? And I love to say the remedy, right? And the remedy is to rethink the meds you take, because that is the remedy. So thinking about that, having more conversations about it. The workbook is called the MedStrong Workbook, and it's to accompany the book itself. Nice. It's color-coded step by step. There's a 5-step process in the book and then also in the workbook, so you can literally work through your medications step by step, because it's a process. And this is not a one and done conversation. Oh, my meds are fine today. I need everything, so therefore I'm fine for the next 20 years. Not true. So people are on medications that they need, and I'm not saying that they're not. Right now, somebody could be on 7 meds. Perfect for them. It's helping them. They're able to manage it well, and things are in control, right? Great. In another couple of years, those 7 meds might not be appropriate. Or something's changed, or you've added on some supplements, or, you can say like
100%.
your diet changed, or, anything. So many things change. So we have to always have that conversation of, should I be taking all of these meds? Is this still appropriate for me? What else should I be doing?
Do you do one-on-one people?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So my website is Wellhood Consulting. So the publishing company for MedStrong is Wellhood Publishing.
Okay.
My consulting is Wellhood Consulting. So wellhoodconsulting.com, Dr. Donna Bartlett, board certified geriatric pharmacist.
And where are you located out of, or is there no
Yeah.
office?
So my office for Wellhood is in Paxton, Massachusetts. And I do a lot of my appointments via Zoom with folks. And people like that because they get to invite family and friends and advocates and anyone else that they so choose.
That's
So
great
That
nurse
is cool.
advocates actually give me a call and say, this family wants med reviews. So I'll have family members, the person themselves, the nurse advocate, all there, team meetings. It's quite wonderful, and everyone gets to ask their questions. So I make certain I have the meds 24 hours ahead. I do my med review, get all my questions going, and then we sit for an hour and we talk about the meds, and then they get notes sent to them after in
like
regards
it.
to,
It's really cool.
this is
Very
what you
cool,
should
Donna.
be considering.
Donna, this is really mind-blowing to me. It's actually uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a way out. Like you're giving people a pathway out of
Yes.
a fog they may be living in, or
Frustration.
I'm thinking about loved ones too. Like or is maybe both of your books. Like if someone had a loved one in mind that they're thinking about right now as they listen to this, going, oh man, I wish I could talk to my father, my mother, my uncle, my brother, my friend about this, but they don't know how to articulate it. Like, which book would you send somebody? Like, if I was to just go on Amazon and say, you know what, they might actually work through the workbook if I gave it to them. Is that a thing?
That's
like,
perfect.
is that a way to
you
approach
could just
this?
do one or the other. If someone's more into reading books and getting the idea across,
Yeah.
it might be more the book. If you think somebody could actually go through the process, then the workbook. But I also like to suggest too, depending upon who you are and how many people you care for, or say even like a nurse advocate caring for many people, if you yourself, you read the book and then you give the workbook to your loved ones that you are caring for, or those that you're trying to help or work with, give them the workbook.
You could almost coach
you
them
have
through it?
Right. So they have the tool. They have this 5-step process and all the thoughts behind it and things to look at. And then the book helps everybody through that process of literally being able to write things down and really see it unfold and take it step by
It's a
step.
very cool tool that you created.
I'm going to need a stack of workbooks.
Yes.
Thank you. The other thing I want to say, and when I was having folks read the book just for feedback before it went to be published, I was asking people who are caregivers, and they said, you know what? I'm all in. I'm totally in. I totally see this. How am I going to convince mom or dad or, aunt, uncle, whoever? And I said, so I put that in. It's literally in the book, how to convince a loved one, because that was so important. I'm like, oh, of course. Yeah. So that's the first barrier you come across, right? Is no, I'm not doing that, or not that drug, these are all the things that people, set up all these barriers. And I talk about all the barriers, patient-wise, caregiver-wise, not that one. My mom needs that. I've heard that for many years from people. Like,
Yeah.
they're falling because of this med, not that one. You never get that one taken
Right.
away from her.
Well, that
and
might
then
clutch.
later on, they see a geriatrician. They're like, guess what? That's the first drug they took off. I'm like, of course they did.
Figure.
So, but what I love to say is share with them how proactive they've been. Look, you've done so great. And you took this blood pressure medicine because you cared enough to take care of yourself. We got to just make certain this is all safe for you.
Yeah.
And if you take that proactive approach and just say, you've done it, we just want to make certain you're still on the right path. Is that as frightening?
Yeah,
I don't
and I
think
think
it is.
You
I don't
laid
think
it out.
is.
Like, you're going to have people that are so deep, like they're now depressed, they're tired, they're maybe even thinking about just giving up on getting better ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
They forgot what it feels like to feel good. That person is going to have a hard time seeing the opportunity here, whereas a loved one who's observed them over the years knows what they're normally like and remembers them as a certain kind of person is in a position to help them. And this is a great tool, I think, to leverage that. Because like just having the conversation with somebody, hey, remember like you used to be like a happy, energetic person, is like not helpful on its own without a way to sort of get them to look at it from a new angle.
Right.
I think this is a really cool tool for that.
I think what's really important too is, people have these lists, right? 5, 10, 15, 20 meds, I've seen it all. And I always share that we're not going to get rid of these all at once. It's a process because you didn't happen on these all at once. This has been a process of years of this happening and occurring over time. So it's not like, oh, all of a sudden you're going to get off of all of these meds and you're going to feel great. It's definitely a process, but people do start feeling better and they're excited and they get excited to go see their doc and say, hey, this is going well. What more can we do type thing.
I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think this was much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I had no idea. I'm like a pharmacist. Okay, what are we doing with this? Like, Mark, where are we going with that? I love it. No, this is really powerful stuff, and I think this is really good for our listeners. I think this is going to be great for Mark to bring to his family or whoever he's looking for.
I did, believe it or not, I don't have somebody specific in mind at the moment. But I see the application clear as day.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Can you repeat, though, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. So my website, wellhoodconsulting.com. Yeah. And you can even put in Donna Bartlett, pharmacist, and I'll probably come up.
Love it.
So yeah,
and we'll make sure we broadcast that as well. Thank you for listening, Lana Kopsler from Coldwell Banker in Leominster. Please reach out if you have comments. You want us to connect you with Donna. This is great information. Hope you enjoyed it. And Mark.
Watch Use at Home inspection. This has nothing to do with real estate, but I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for being here too.
Thank you.